always thought my parents loved each other. They weren't perfect, but I never saw them fight in front of me. My mom smiled a lot, my dad worked hard, and we did regular family things like watching movies and going out on Sundays. Life felt normal. But then things slowly began to change. My mom became quieter. She was always on her phone, texting someone, and she'd smile at her screen in a way that felt strange. I tried to ignore it at first, but something deep inside me said, "Something's not right." I started to pay attention more. One day, I came home early from school because our last class was canceled. When I opened the door, the house was quiet, but I heard talking upstairs. It was my mom. I thought she was on a call, but her voice was soft, almost like a whisper. Then I heard a man's voice. That's when I froze. My dad wasn't home. Who was that? I slowly walked toward her room, but I didn't open the door. I just listened. There was laughter and then silence. I left without saying a word. My heart was racing. Something was very wrong. That night, I didn't sleep much. I kept hearing those voices in my head. I didn't want to believe what I was thinking, but the idea wouldn't go away. The next day, my mom acted like everything was normal. She asked how school was and made dinner like always. But her smile didn't feel real anymore. It felt like a mask. I started checking little things: who she was texting, where she went, how long she stayed out. I wasn't trying to spy. I just needed to know if I was imagining things, or if my gut feeling was right. Things got worse when she said she was going on a weekend trip with friends. I knew her friends. They usually came to the house. This trip felt different. Something didn't add up. While she was gone, I checked her computer. I know it was wrong, but I was desperate to find answers. That's when I saw the messages. She had left her email open. There were emails to someone named T. They were romantic. She said she missed him. She thanked him for a hotel weekend. My stomach dropped. My mom was cheating on my dad. It was real. I closed the laptop and sat there, frozen. My mom, who always told me to be honest, to do the right thing, was hiding something this big. I didn't know what to do. My dad was such a good man. He worked hard, came home tired, but still helped me with homework, still asked how my day was. He didn't deserve this. But if I told him, I'd break his heart. If I didn't tell him, I was protecting a lie. I felt stuck in the middle of something I didn't ask for. And I didn't know what to do next. For days, I said nothing. I went to school, came home, ate dinner, and pretended like everything was fine. But it wasn't. I started avoiding both of them. I couldn't look my mom in the eyes, and I felt guilty around my dad. Every time he hugged her or smiled at her, I felt like I was lying too. I barely ate. I barely slept. I just kept thinking, what if he finds out on his own? What if she breaks his heart and he never forgives either of us? The secret felt like it was eating me alive. One night, my dad was planning a surprise dinner for their anniversary. He was in the kitchen, writing down meal ideas and lighting candles to test the setup. He even showed me a small gift he bought for her. It was a bracelet with her initials. "Think she'll like it?" he asked. I forced a smile and nodded. But inside, I was falling apart. How could she lie to someone who loved her so much? How could I stay quiet while he did all this for her? That night, I knew I couldn't hold it in anymore. He needed to know. The next day, I asked my dad if we could talk. He looked surprised but said, "Sure." We sat in the living room. I was so nervous I could barely breathe. My hands were shaking. "Dad," I said, "I found something about Mom." His smile faded, I told him everything. About the voices I heard, the emails I saw, the weekend trips that weren't with friends. He didn't say anything at first. He just stared at the floor. Then he looked at me, his eyes red, and said quietly, "Thank you for being honest." That broke my heart even more. That night, everything changed. My mom came home, and my dad didn't say much. He just asked to speak to her alone. I heard them in the kitchen. The voices got louder. My mom started crying. I heard him say, "Why didn't you just tell me?" Then there was silence. I stayed in my room, holding my pillow, trying not to cry. The house that used to feel warm now felt cold and broken. I didn't know if they'd stay together or if we'd fall apart completely. But I knew one thing. The truth was finally out. The next morning, my mom didn't come down for breakfast. My dad made toast for both of us, but he didn't say much. We just sat there in silence. He looked tired. I could tell he hadn't slept. "I'm not mad at you," he said. "You were brave to tell me." I nodded. I didn't feel brave. I felt sad and guilty. But he reached out and held my hand. "We'll figure this out," he said. And even though nothing felt okay, I believed him. My dad was strong. And even though everything was falling apart, we still had each other. A few days later, my mom packed a small bag and left the house. She didn't say goodbye. She just walked out. I watched her from the window as she got into her car and drove away. I didn't know if she'd come back or if this was forever. Part of me was angry. Part of me was hurt. But mostly, I was just numb. My dad didn't cry in front of me. He just stood by the door for a long time after she left. Then he quietly cleaned the kitchen. I helped him, and we didn't speak much. Weeks passed. The house was quieter, but calmer. My dad and I started talking more. We watched movies together and cooked simple meals. It wasn't the same, but it wasn't terrible either. One night, he said, "You saved me from more pain later. Thank you." I didn't know what to say. I just nodded and smiled a little. I missed my mom sometimes, even after everything. But I didn't miss the lies. I didn't miss the worry. Even though it hurt, the truth brought us closer. It made us a team. And that was something we hadn't had in a long time. Eventually, I saw my mom again. We met in a cafe. She looked tired but smiled when she saw me. We talked for a bit. I asked her why she did it. She didn't have a good answer. I felt lonely. "I didn't think anyone noticed me anymore," she said. "I wanted to be angry, but I just felt sad." "You could have talked to us," I said. She nodded. "I know. I'm sorry." I didn't forgive her right away, but I listened. Because no matter what, she was still my mom, and part of me still loved her. Life slowly started to feel normal again, just a different kind of normal. My dad and I made new memories. We laughed more. He worked hard, but he also made time for me. He told me once, "Love doesn't always last, but honesty does." That stuck with me. I stopped blaming myself for what happened. I didn't cause the problem. I just brought it into the light. That takes courage. I began to feel stronger. Not because I had all the answers, but because I chose to tell the truth when it mattered most. And that made all the difference. Sometimes, people ask me if I'd do it again, if I'd tell my dad the truth. The answer is always yes. Watching someone you love walk into pain is hard, but letting them live in a lie is even harder. My dad deserved the truth. Even if it broke his heart, he at least had the chance to heal, and he did. We both did. I learned that families can break and still rebuild. I learned that even when trust is lost, honesty can start to fix it. It may take time, but it starts with one brave step. Now, when I look back, I don't feel regret. I feel peace. I didn't ask for this story, but it became part of my life, and I handled it the best I could. My dad is happier now. My mom is working on herself, and I'm stronger than I ever thought I could be. Sometimes the truth hurts more than lies, but in the end, truth is what lets us grow. My dad never knew the truth about my mom, until I finally spoke up. And though it hurt us both, it set us free.